Morning everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Morning Drives. Today we've got something a little bit different for you. It's not a sports car, it is actually a Ford Ranger Ute. This is the brand new generation, it's got a new look, and we're really excited to bring this to you. It's a really exciting thing for me as well because I've never actually driven a Ute before, so this is going to be the first time that I actually drive and get to experience a Ute. So Frank, talk us a little bit more about the new Ford Ranger.
So I'm very excited to review this car actually because I own a last gen Ford Ranger Raptor. So for me to see this car in flesh, it's a brand new look, brand new generation. It's very exciting for me personally.
Yeah.
And this is a Ford Ranger Wildtrak. So it's got a 3-liter twin turbo diesel V6 engine. Today we'll do a quick review of it. Inside and out, and also do a driving impression of this car and show you some of the details this car has. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Yeah, so special thanks to John Andrew Ford Graylin to lend us this car to review. They've been really good to look after us, me personally, with my last gen Ranger Raptor. And I have a new Ranger Raptor, the new gen, on order as well. So they should come out, like I should be able to pick it up in about a couple of weeks time. So when I pick that up, we'll do a full review on that car as well, so stay tuned. So let's look at the exterior of this car. This is brand new, so it's a Gen 2 look. I really like the look actually, especially the front end, where the whole front end is totally different from last gen. It has a very distinctive daytime running light. That's really C-shaped. It looks really great, and it's still got that large and wide traditional Ford Ute look. It's got this large Ford logo right here. This color is called Lux Yellow, I believe, which looks really great under the sun. It's a color between orange and yellow and gold, so it's a very special color actually for the Wildtrak, and I believe you can only get this color with the Wildtrak as well. So that's a very nice and special color.
It looks very metallic actually under the sun,
yes,
which is really cool.
Pops out quite well, doesn't it? So in the front we have, you can see this car is actually filled with a lot of tech features and safety features. You can see there's quite a lot of sensor points right here, over here as well. And right in the middle, this is for the adaptive cruise control sensor. Got a front camera right here. So it's loaded with camera, sensors, and different techs to, for safety reasons, and also for, for this 360 camera, which is so useful when you go off-roading or like parking a tighter space.
And you were saying before that there's a lot more technology compared to the older generation Ranger, right?
Yes. Like in my old generation Ranger Raptor, basically I have nothing. No 360 camera, there's only one backup camera at the back, no front sensors at all, no adaptive cruise control. So yeah, the tech has totally upgraded in this new generation compared to the last generation.
It seems like a huge upgrade,
exactly,
which is fantastic.
So for similar price, this is really bang for buck actually.
And I like the fact that it looks really similar now to its American counterparts. So it actually looks similar to the F-150 Lightning.
Yes.
And the Raptor in the US as well.
Yes, exactly. So the Raptor will have a different front grille, but the basic shape is similar. The Raptor will have like a wider body as well. Yeah, but this car is also, I believe it's a bit larger than last gen as well. Yeah, but still a very stunning looking Ute actually. So we've got the tow hooks here in the front. We've got two of them right here. Very large opening for the radiators. You can see you've got a huge central radiator right in the front. And got the fog lights on either side. Yeah, great looking front end. I also love the front creases of the front bonnet. Makes it look much more sculptural and also masculine at the same time. yeah, I think Ford designed this front end really, really well. So Luan, let's look at the engine bay.
Yeah, so let's open up this big bonnet. It's quite a heavy bonnet. Oh, very heavy, Frank.
Where's
Need
your
to work
muscle
out-
gone?
Yeah, need to work out a bit more. And so we've got the 3-litre V6 twin turbo diesel here. It's got 184 kilowatts and 247-ish horsepower. So that's quite good for a V6 diesel. And most importantly, it's got 600 newton meters, which is a lot of towing capacity
That is
and
a
a lot
lot.
of torque.
Mm.
Yeah, so you can definitely feel that when you're driving the car, that it's actually really easy to go anywhere. You know, it's quite smooth, and it doesn't really struggle to accelerate and keep up with the rest of traffic. So inside the engine bay, it's pretty typical looking engine bay. There's actually a lot of space in here as well, which is always good to see, because that means that if you do need to replace anything, if you do need to fix anything in the future, then it should be fairly straightforward to do that as well.
Let's look at the side of the car. So you can see with the Wildtrak, this vent is actually functional. It goes all the way into the engine bay. So extract heat out from the engine bay, I think. Also, you can see on the side mirror, it's a very large side mirror because it's a very large car. It's got a side camera right here for the 360 camera to work. And you've got blind spot monitoring right here. And one thing very important with these Utes are the side steps, because these Utes are very, very tall. So these side steps really help for people to get in and out of the vehicle. Okay, let's talk quickly about the suspension of this vehicle. So it's got like a double wishbone suspension in the front, which is really good for handling and for grip. There's one control arm here and one down the bottom. So at the back, it's got a leaf spring setup because this is a Ute, and for towing and everything, and for heavy loads, leaf springs are a bit more heavy duty. And I believe the shocks now sits outside of the leaf spring. I think for the last generation, the shocks actually sit inside of the leaf spring. That's why you get a bit more back tray space for the new generation. Okay, so more about the rear of the car. So the Wildtrak comes with a rear locking differential, at the rear axle. So this is really, really great. So improve its off-road capability. It's just really great function to have. And you can access this functionality through a button right inside of the vehicle. You can lock and unlock the rear diff if you want to. So let's move to the back of the Ute. So the Ranger actually comes with some of really interesting details, like this side step here. It's actually very handy for you to climb up to access things inside the rear tray. The whole new tail is a new design from the last generation. Again, you can see there's a lot of sensors. There's one here, two over here, plenty of sensors to make sure the car is fairly safe. And then there's a backup camera right here.
It's very well hidden.
Yep, to access the boot, there's a handle right here. So you can see there is a metal spring here, right in the middle, to help manage the weight of the tailgate when you open and close. So it actually feels very light when you open and close the back lid.
You've just got big muscles, Frank, that's all.
Oh yeah, let's go. Okay, so the Wildtrak comes standard with this electrically assisted back shutter lid. You can access it through the key here. If you press this twice, it will open automatically, electronically. If you open it up, you can see there's these clip points. They designed this to clamp your tools. You can clamp your tools here and use this as like a working vehicle on the go. So that's pretty handy. You can clamp it here and use your tools on the back tray lid. Inside here as well, you can see there are anchor points that's movable, which is really good. This is much better than the last gen, and I believe the size of the tray is also larger than the last generation Ranger. You've got a 12-volt here, and you've got like a little button here. You can press this and open and close the back shutter lid as well.
That's really cool.
So that's really good.
Yeah, just like a little garage.
Yep, very nice. For all the Ranger Utes, it comes standard with the tow bar, and the towing capacity for the Ranger Wildtrak is 3.5 tons. So that's very, very good towing capacity. Great for towing your boats, your caravan, all that sort of jazz.
Alright everyone, so let's have a look inside the new Ford Ranger. So inside here, it's actually a lot more luxurious than I was expecting. And I think a lot more luxurious than the previous version as well.
Yes, definitely.
So you've got fully adjustable electric seats at the front. So lots of adjustability there. That all comes standard as well. We've got some leather covered seats, and the material is actually really nice. It's quite soft to touch. So that's a really nice feature.
Got the Wildtrak written on the seat.
Yep,
which is a nice touch.
Yep, some contrast stitching as well. So
yep.
Again, that's a really cool.
And this orange stitching is a Wildtrak thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've got some really cool cup holders here. Look at that.
These are so good, man.
All right, everyone. So we're going to start the car and show you exactly what it's like to have a Ford Ranger Wildtrak. So the first thing that you notice when you start the car is this huge central touchscreen display. It's really nice, actually. It's good to feel. It's really responsive, and also it's really bright in the sunlight. And what's really great is that they've actually left all the climate controls and all the sort of normal buttons that you would use. So there's a volume dial, there's an on-off switch for the radio, and there's all the climate controls down here on the dials. And that's really handy because you don't always want to be going into the touchscreen for that. We've got Google Maps integration, which is great. We've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and then we've got the essential gear selector over here, and also the drive mode selector. So we've got 4H, 2H, 4A, and 4L.
So H stands for high.
Yeah, H is high range, and L is for low range.
Yes.
Yeah. And what does 4A stand for?
Auto.
And there's a lot of storage in this car as well, so it's really, really practical. So we've got some storage down here, maybe for your phone or whatever. We've got a wireless charger here, and there's also a little cubby hole down here. There's a bunch of cup holders in the middle, and also what's amazing as well is that there's a hidden compartment in here. So that's really nice to store, your drink bottles or something that you want to keep
for your
out of
smaller
sight.
Stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then apparently, just for the Ranger, there is a little tray here with some non-slip material. So that's really nice. That doesn't come in the Everest apparently. And then we've also got a big glove box down there, and also a cup holder for the passenger side. So talking about the steering wheel and the controls, we've got a whole bunch of buttons on here. There's buttons for cruise control. There's buttons for the radar guided cruise control, the lane keep assist, volume buttons, and also some controls for the central screen here as well. And we'll go through some of those features with you very shortly. I really like the grille pattern on the central vents. I think it matches the grille pattern at the front of the car as well. So I really love that they've actually taken that design language and shifted it inside the car. So that's really nice. Cool. And then we've got a big, really massive cubby hole in the center console here. So that's pretty awesome.
Right, got a 12V right there.
Yep, 12-volt charger right there as well. Alright, so let's show you some of the screen modes. So we've got our fuel consumption, we've got trip computers, 2 trip computers, which is really cool. and we've got some audio settings, seat belts, auto stop start, and back to fuel economy. So it's a really nice, bright and informative display. We've got the fuel gauge on the right there, and also the temperature gauge on the left. So it's really cool. We've got some more controls here. So this one operates the cover, the rear cover. And then we've got light controls. Usually you just leave it on automatic, so that's fine. Auto lights there. And another feature is that this car has auto sensing wipers, is that right?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
Great. And then just to show you the 360-degree camera as well. So obviously if you turn it into reverse, you'll be able to see the 360-degree camera, and the quality is actually really, really good. I'm quite surprised that it's a really nice picture, a really nice view. So yeah, it's a really good system, and the picture actually changes based on the angle of your steering wheel as well. So that's quite a nice feature.
The quality of the image is really, really good.
Yeah.
The resolution is really high.
Yeah.
And it's very, very clear.
Yeah, this sort of technology is actually incredibly useful for a large car like this, because normally it's really hard to park these cars and to figure out what's around you. So this is incredibly useful for the new Ranger. Go.
So on the left-hand side of the steering wheel column, there's a little, control buttons here. So this is for towing actually. So if you press that, I think it will connect the trailer with your car. And then these minus and plus button is to control the trailer brake. You can have more or less, I guess. Right now we don't have a trailer on it, so we can't operate it, but this is a really nice and handy function to have. So the central infotainment screen is very intuitive. So let's go to the home button. You can have like radio, phone, navigation, media, your usual stuff. If you go to the right, click on the vehicle, you go to the vehicle settings. So if you've got some of the tow settings, your parking, your camera, and your detail settings right here. So your phone, your driver assist, this got a lot of stuff going on. So you can basically change to whatever you like. Inside, it's all about the car. This is a handy button right here. It shows you, once you click it, the screen actually goes to a off-road setting screen. So it automatically turns on the front camera, so you can see what's in front of you. And also over here, there's descent control, and also you can lock and unlock the rear diff.
Sweet. Okay, so we're going to jump into the back of the car, but I just wanted to show you something really quick, which is really cool about this car as well, is that the door handles are actually inside the grab handle. So it's really easy to use. That means when you put your hand down here, you can just grab the door handle and open the door. Simple, huh? Great piece of design.
Okay, Luan, we're at the back.
Yeah, so there's a lot of practicality built into the back of the car. As you can see, you can actually flip the seats all the way up and clip them onto the headrest up there. And that's just to allow more load space in here, just in case you don't need to use the rear seats. Frank also tells me that you can actually fold these back seats down as well, so that again it gives you some more load space and it gives you a flat area.
Yes, exactly.
There's an armrest here with some cup holders, so that's pretty cool. That's a nice feature. And also we've got some air vents back here for the climate control, and also USB-C and normal USB-A charging. So that's really nice. Good to see them building some of these features in as well.
Yeah, I believe the interior space of the new generation is a bit larger than the old generation. So that's always a plus.
Well, let's give it a try and let me get in. Oh wow, okay, yeah.
Feel comfortable?
There's heaps of space. Yeah, lots of headroom as well, not too bad there.
Yeah.
And this is my driving position, and I've got lots of space to relax and to actually stretch my legs a little bit. So yeah, it's actually really nice in here.
I guess the only downside to these Utes, the back row, the back seat incline is quite straight.
Yeah.
There's not much angle, so for a long journey it might feel a bit tiring. But other than that, it's a nice spacious cabin, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really good actually. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Great.
And the other thing about the back seats here is that they do have ISOFIX mounting points at the back, so you can put in your baby or your child seats in the back as well.
Yeah, and there are anchor points behind the seat as well.
this what driving a Utes like, Frank?
Yeah, it's fun. It's like driving a boat, man.
It's like driving a truck. I guess it is a truck.
Driving a boat on the road.
All right, so let's have a go. This is my first day driving a Ute, so excuse me if I run over a few curbs and if I go a little bit off-road or whatever. But actually, surprisingly, this car is quite easy to drive. The steering wheel is pretty light. It has enough feedback, but not too much feedback. And in terms of the throttle and the brakes, just like a normal car, the brakes are not oversensitive. You don't have to press too hard. It accelerates pretty well. So this is the 3-litre V6 twin turbo diesel, and it drives as you'd expect, just like a normal car. So that's pretty nice. The car is big. You can tell it's big. You can see the bonnet is quite long, but when you have parking sensors and the 360-degree camera and all the cameras around the car, that really helps to place the car where you need it to be placed.
Because it's got front double wishbone suspension, the feeling of turning, it should be quite agile, right?
Yeah.
And quite sensitive as well, right?
Yeah, it's quite responsive actually when you turn. So it's a lot better than I expected, to be honest, for a big Ute, especially that's this high up. It doesn't have active suspension or anything like that, but I think the suspension has been tuned really well, so you don't really need any of that. And obviously that's going to add complexity and cost to quite a utilitarian vehicle. Let some cars through, and then I'm going to do a bit of a acceleration.
Can definitely feel the torque.
Yep, there's a lot of torque, which is great.
I believe peak torque comes in at 1,750 revs.
Yep.
So that's quite early, which is really good. So you can get the car going from very low rev range.
Yeah. There's a little bit of turbo lag, which is what you'd expect for a 3-litre turbo diesel. But once the turbos kick in, yeah, definitely you can feel quite a lot of torque and quite a lot of movement in the car. It actually moves quite rapidly, which is great. So this has got 184 kilowatts, so that's plenty of power for a car like this. I don't think you'd want to really make it go any faster.
No, you do with the Raptor, you do, yes.
I feel like it would be quite scary in this car if it was actually any faster. But in the Raptor it's different because it's got different suspension and it's got a petrol engine.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different to this car. But yeah,
Right.
for like an everyday car, just going around town or driving off-road or going to whatever it is you need to do, going to a job or doing some work, this car's super practical, very easy to drive, and it looks pretty good as well. I think it looks a lot better than the original
Great in this color,
Ranger.
huh?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's actually quiet in the cabin.
Very quiet.
You can hear a bit of road noise from the tires because these tires are quite large. But other than that, it's quite quiet. Even the engine as well, it doesn't make much sound.
Yeah, it's a very refined diesel engine.
Yeah.
It's only when you really put the throttle down that you can hear it sort of like the traditional diesel noise. If you don't put your foot down, if you don't accelerate too quickly, it's very, very quiet, very, very smooth. Like here, we're stopping and we're going, and there's no jerkiness, there's no complaints from the diesel engine. It's just very, very smooth, very even acceleration, and it's really easy to drive, which is great.
Right.
I am surprised about the comfort level and the road noise, because I always thought that Utes were, quite rough, because they look pretty tough and pretty rough.
Yeah.
But I suppose nowadays Utes are much better.
I think especially with Ford products, I have to say that because I'm not sure about other brands, but the time when I had my last generation Ranger Raptor, I'm very, very happy with the car. And the suspension is great, and also for the Wildtrak as well. You can feel that Ford's put a lot of energy and effort into tuning the suspension to make sure it's capable as well as comfortable. So yeah, hats off to Ford, and they've done a good job. I mean, the car doesn't jerk around, doesn't jump around at all. Very planted, and going over bump and imperfections still soaks up all that very well. So I guess for this, you get the best of both worlds. You can use this as a work vehicle as well as a family vehicle, because for family vehicles, you want it to be a bit more comfortable, right? But then for work vehicle, you wanted to be able to, tow heavy stuff, have a lot of capacity at the back tray for some heavy stuff as well. So basically, it's got the best of both worlds, I think. Yeah. Also, I think Utes, why they are so popular in New Zealand is because it suits New Zealand lifestyle so well. You can take it out camping, going off-road. Put a kayak at the back.
You can chuck anything at the back.
So easy to do, and you don't need to worry about dirtiness because it's a back tray, right? It can be as dirty as it likes. You just hose it down, if you want to keep it clean.
That's true.
So just a very, very suits New Zealand lifestyle very well.
Yeah, you've got a roof tent for your Raptor, right?
Yeah. We'll be showing you some of that when I get my Raptor.
Yeah, and look, for the new generation Ranger, you've got all the technology of a modern car. So buying this, it's not really, you don't really have any downsides or disadvantages.
That's right.
From buying this versus a normal car.
And the interior of the new generation is so nice now. I mean, this large screen is so futuristic. The full digital gauge cluster, it's amazing. It's very customizable, shows a lot of information. And the fit and finish of this whole interior, there's no squeaks or rattling at all. Very quiet, fit and finish, very, very solid feels.
Yeah, very quiet.
So it's just a great vehicle, I think. Yeah.
Wow, so that was a really interesting drive for me, Frank. First time driving a Ute. It was really comfy and actually really, really nice to drive. So that was a bit of a surprise.
How do you find the car?
The car's brilliant. I think you'll find it really interesting as well, right? Because this is really similar to your new Raptor. So you must be really looking forward to getting your new car.
No, I'm super excited looking forward to getting the Raptor because this is maybe like I would say 80% of the Raptor feel. So when I get the Raptor, pretty much that will be the full experience.
Yeah, and what do you think about this generation versus the last generation?
It's a lot of differences, especially the build quality, the design. The different tags this new generation carries, it's a total game changer from the last generation. A lot of improvements, looks amazing as well. It's just overall a great improvement from the last generation.
Yeah, I'm really surprised at how similar it is to a normal car that you would drive on the road. It's not like a Ute at all, actually. It's more like an SUV that just happens to have a Ute at the back, a utility bed tray at the back. So it's really nice. It's completely doable as an everyday driver, as a family car. You use your Raptor as a family car, right?
Yeah, I drive it almost as a daily. This is definitely a car that's very all-round. You can use it as a family car as well as a work truck. It's amazing how these modern Utes nowadays can be so versatile.
Yeah, and we were really impressed about the technology as well. So we've got the 360-degree camera, we've got the sensors, we've got all other cameras as well all around the car. But also the safety features and the radar-guided cruise control, the touchscreen. So it's a really bang up-to-date modern everyday car.
Yeah, and it's got all different modes for off-road use as well. That's pretty amazing. I believe this is a very capable four-wheel drive off-road car. And again, we didn't have time to test this off-road capability, but we'll try that in the Raptor.
Yeah, and in our next video we're going to be comparing this to the Everest as well, which is basically the same car but in an SUV format. So please stay tuned, like and subscribe, and we'll be bringing you more amazing content.